Welcome back to Self Revelations. It's your boy B-Dab.
And I'm Juan Moreno.
Wanavelli. We're finally at 250 on YouTube, man. How you feeling? How you feeling about that?
No, I mean, I actually definitely feel we're almost at 1 billion.
Yeah.
Almost there. 250 is the climb. I think it's just amazing though, like the fact that we are getting a following based on like our conversations, and then to like what it took to build to only this point, only like a handful of months in, to then see the growth and like the following, and to see like what it took for us to like learn all these things to get here, and sometimes, well, I'll speak for myself, maybe making it more difficult than what it actually seemed to be. Like when you think about it, like if somebody asks you, like I want you to answer this question, like if somebody asks you like, hey B-Dab, I want to start a podcast, like, but I don't know how to start. I don't know how to start it. Like, you know, what can I do? Like if you were to answer that, what would be your answer?
I mean, first I would just tell them like, well, start like make an IG, like kind of like the same platform, the same way that we went, right? I would just tell them from our experience. You know, it started with write all your shit down. Okay, what are your goals? What's your foundation? Do you want to be the foundation of your podcast, whatever it may be? Make your TikTok, connect your TikTok to your Instagram that you would make for that, and find out what you're going to be editing on. And bro, just start. Like it's like people try to make it like a big deal or try to jump through hoops and try to be like, oh, I want to be like Joe Rogan off of day one. You're not at the end of the day. Bro, if you want to start a platform and a podcast, just do it, bro, and know why you're doing it.
What about the people that say, what about the people that are like, you know what, I don't have the right camera?
Bro, we use a cell phone. Bro, we use my cell phone that I use every day. Come on now. Like, the shit is really simple, bro. Like, you have a cell phone that records in 4K, 60 frames per second. Like, bro, come on now. Like, if they don't have an iPhone, then that could be tough, though. But if you do have an iPhone, bro, you have everything you need right there. Like, I have an iPhone 11, and, bro, it does wonders. Every single one of our videos, like, we recorded off of that. You know what I mean? And I edit off, you know, I had to go get a MacBook. You know, that might be difficult to get. But in all reality, you can edit off of iMovie off your cell phone. You know what I mean? Like, there's ways to get into the grind of it.
And then too, it's like we were talking about it earlier until we found out that the mic wasn't recording. That like we got to this point with trial and error. Like we were open to like, you know what, let's just get to step one, which is just record and try to figure out a way to connect the audio to the video. And once we got to that, which wasn't easy, it's not like you just figured it out in a day, right? Like you actually went to go with somebody to try to learn how to like synchronize.
Yeah. Like I took it as like a studying day with someone who was already doing podcasts and stuff like that. So he's the one that my boy Stewie is the one that showed me like, hey, you should try out Adobe Pro, see how you like it. It's this much a month, this much a year. Like he showed me a few, but he told me he showed me the one that he uses, which is Adobe Pro, and he showed me how to edit, how to, you know, make clips, how to make the podcast, how to do certain things. And like from like me going over there, like, bro, it took me from like, you know, I still don't know everything about it. You know what I mean? I probably only still know 1% of it, but I get the job, like it gets the job done of what we need. You know what I mean? But, you know, like having this platform to edit on and do all this stuff, bro, you know, helped us out a lot in the process of like, you remember how long it used to take for me to edit one video?
Damn, not really. Not in like how
the
long
first
did it
the
take
first couple, bro. It took me the whole day.
Holy shit!
Like it took me the whole day. Like frustrated, like accidentally deleting stuff, like bro. And you remember like the times we would start recording, and my phone was like maxed out with the memory, so we would think we were recording a podcast, and like it would record the vocals, but my phone was just off. And we would turn around and look at the camera would just be off, or be at the home screen. Oh man, I was sick. And the first thing your positive ass gonna do, oh bro, it's good, we'll just record again. Like, bro, oh my God. Especially when it's just like say I have something planned and I'm just like, damn, this hour video really took 3.5 hours to do because of some, technical stuff. But it's just because we're, like you said, like rushing stuff. Like when you're rushing stuff, like there's a lot of room for error, like especially with this type of thing that we're doing. So, you know, going and learning from them and kind of slowing down and like getting into a flow of like how we do things when we record, when we drop, all that stuff. Okay, we recorded and have it uploaded and in our privates by this day. That all getting into the flow of things, like that all, it came naturally, but it was all a grind, bro. That shit was it was hard.
When it comes to like, because we've gotten messages that people want to start their own podcast, or like we might influence them or want them to pursue it, but then people sometimes overcomplicate things. Like, do you think a lot of people do this with like what they want to do in life too? I think sometimes like we overcomplicate it. And like, for the question I want to ask you is like, what do you think are some of the things that people view that overcomplicates doing something?
Chasing their goals, number one, bro. Any goal that someone has, it's always a problem to where it's like, oh, I want to do real estate, but I don't think I'm ready for this test, or I want to pursue a career in football, or I want to be an artist, I want to be a poet, but I'm too shy. I don't know if I can do this, or anything like that. And people hold themselves back. It's not other people that hold us back. We hold ourselves back from achieving like our highest level of ourselves, like, or pursuing something that we genuinely want to be. You know what I mean? We all have a certain level of greatness within us, and we know what we want to do. We know what we like to do. It's just we try to fit into the social bubble and be like, oh, well, I like video games, and I know I can make money from playing video games, but I know my mom and dad won't approve of this. I know my friends won't support me, or I know this person won't support me. My brothers won't support me, so I'm not gonna do it. You know what I mean? But in all realities, bro, you should just do what you want to do. Like at the end of the day, like you have to live with your own decisions. When your parents are gone, you have to live with the life that you made for yourself. You can't blame your parents while you're an accountant and you didn't pursue a career in music and you're a great singer. You know what I mean? So just pursue your passions. Like fuck what everybody else thinks.
Yeah, and I think that's the problem that we do sometimes to ourselves, that we make things way more complicated than what it seems. Like things are very simple. I want to pursue music. Okay, let me study. Excuse me. Let me study some of the people that have either made the type of music that I want to do or influence me. See how they did it, and then incorporate within myself. But obviously, you have to get out of your own head and realize that, not everybody's going to see the same vision that you want or what you see. So, like, you want to surround yourself with people that are not willing to accept where you are right now, but are willing to move towards where you want to go. Like, just because you are at this moment and you don't know this and that doesn't mean it's going to be like that forever. Just accept that you don't know, and then, like, educate yourself on, like, what to do and how to do it. But I think some people just make these, like, mental barriers in their head that blocks them from achieving these goals that they really want to do. And I think some people forget. Some people are not willing to accept the sacrifice of what it's going to take to get to that goal. And that sacrifice, what I think, is accepting that you're going to be uncomfortable and that you're going to be frustrated and that you're going to mess up. And at times you're going to embarrass yourself. And, some people are not willing to do that. And instead, they're willing to just be comfortable and just saying, I don't know how to do it. Or my family is this. And I think I don't know if it was Deion Sanders or Gary Vee or somebody. They were saying that, there's like two different types of people. There's the people that say, I'm rich and I'm successful because I came from a broken home. And then there's those other people that are like, I am the way I am and I'm unhappy and I don't have the things that I want because I came from a broken home. So it's like you have like two different perspectives of people. And that's kind of like an example of like capitalism. Like you could have two people that come from the same type of environment and background, and one of them is gonna make it because they came from a broken home, and one of them is gonna make excuses why they didn't do it because they came from a broken home. So it's like, it's all about your perspective and mindset towards whatever you're trying to go to, accepting where you're at, but not accepting like this is gonna be you forever and make excuses. So I think I forgot where I was going with this, but like people I think sometimes rely on the excuses instead of putting in the effort and the work to get where you would like to be. It's going to take work, and you have to accept that work. If not, then you're always going to rely on this one excuse.
Yeah, exactly. And I appreciate, you know, that illustration and you explaining that, and it's facts. It's the truth. You know, a lot of people, they haven't ever been, some people that want to pursue their goals have never been put in a situation where they had to push through obstacles and push through hardship to get to where they was. Some people had a lot of things handed to them or coddled for them their whole life. So it's like when they get to that point, it's like all hell breaks loose and they don't know how to deal with it because of the situations that they haven't been put in. You know, some people weren't brought up in a tough neighborhood or whatever it may be. But when it comes to like you brought out, well, someone who brought up in the same environment, say they're both brought up in a tough environment, and one person being like, okay, regardless of how I'm brought up, I will be successful because I'm going to push. I know no matter what, I'm going to grind and I'm going to push to be where I want to be. And I'm going to accomplish my goals and I'm going to do this and that. And someone else can look at it and be like, well, this is my environment. I have no other choice. You know, I'm a product of my environment. That's it. That's the end of it. I'm not going to grow. I'm not going to get better. And you're going to stay stagnant. And that person that come up in the same place as you that might be successful, they might look at that person and hate on him because he got out of that situation and he's grinding for what he wants and is goal chasing, and you're stuck in the same person. And that person might be thinking like, why me? Why wasn't me? Well, you didn't put in that work that other person did. You didn't change your mentality and you didn't have that growth mindset that other person was having. You know what I mean? So, you know, in all of that, you know, pursuing your goals, and yeah, it's going to be uncomfortable. Nothing that you're going to do that's worthwhile is going to be comfortable and easy. Nothing. Like relationships aren't easy. Your goals, pursuing your goals isn't going to be easy. Getting money ain't easy. You know, ain't nothing. So keeping your money ain't easy. Having kids ain't easy. Nothing in life worth having is easy. You know what I mean? So we got to take these things with a grain of salt. And if you know where you want to be, bro, you got to put in that work. You know what I'm saying? You got to put in that work. You got to be ready to grind. You got to get ready to get knocked down and get back up, because that's what life's going to do to you. You know what I'm saying? Life in itself is not going to be a piece of cake. So if you want something, go get it.
Yeah. And it's all about like accepting like the things that are going to come within the journey. Like the journey of life is not going to be easy. You're going to have people that pass away. You might get sick. You might, you know, have to deal with the cards that you have in front of you and try to do the best you can with them. And then accepting like along the journey of trying to reach this goal that you're going to be uncomfortable. It's going to suck. And there's going to be a lot of great things, a lot of learning. But I think until you accept those things, when you're in those moments, it's going to be easier because you're like, oh, I signed up for this. Like, this is part of like me trying to be this professional in this field, or this goal, or this music, or this business, or this perspective. Like, if I want to change, it starts with my mind. And without, you know, accepting these things that are going to try to push me back, or accepting the things that you know that push people away from doing these things, as soon as you accept it, when you're in those moments, you signed up for this. Like, you know this already. Like, this is part of, you know, me trying to, I have to practice 6 days a week in order for me to get to that ultimate goal. And yet, even when I'm tired, even when I'm sick, no excuses. Like, I signed up for this. Like, this is this type of stuff this is why people don't pursue it, because it's so demanding. And, you know, Mark Cuban said something earlier that I was listening to an interview where he was saying that you have to work. Now, everybody, you know, motivation is different, but this is a perspective that could work for somebody, is knowing that whatever field you're in or whatever profession, just know that somebody's working 24 hours more than you. So, like, and that's why I love the U.S. Like, America is like, you know, it's all about the hours that you put into your craft, and it shows when you're on the court, or you're on the field, or when you're in the office, or when you're in a presentation, or you're in a public, you know, a public environment, like you're gonna be able to tell the person that dedicated themselves because they don't make no excuses and they do it with like their work ethic. They don't have a lot of like talk. Like they're not talking a lot. Like obviously you should talk your shit if you got confidence and stuff like that. I think that motivates me. And even though you can be talking shit about me because you're so good, for me it just motivates me to just be better. But not to be better than you, but just to know that okay, I gotta improve. Like I don't ever try to look at and shame somebody for their confidence or where they're at, even though we came from the same like environment or the same high school or the same anything or same level at 1.5 years ago. For me, it just motivates me to see somebody else that looks just like me or is a human just like me to then do what I want to do. For me, it just shows me like if he can do it, if she can do it, shit, I can do it too.
Facts. And that's beautiful because a lot of people have that perspective. A lot of people will see, if you see somebody that looks like you, they got more. Some people would hate, bro. Like that's crazy to think about. Like some people would look at somebody of color, even though they're somebody of color, and hate on them just because they got more. Like if you see somebody in a Benz that look like you, what are you getting out of hating? You know what I'm saying? I never did get that. Like what are you getting out of, like I don't understand. But you know, looking at that as motivation, like when I see people on even social media, like when I see stuff on social media of people like maybe living a lavish lifestyle and that maybe they're young, maybe they're younger than me. Like that just motivates me and pushes me like, okay, like I got to get on my shit. I got to get there some way and somehow, and I will. It's only a matter of time. You know, my time's going to come. You know what I mean? And I forgot, it was a song that I was listening to when he was like, I think it was Rallo, Rallo Rodriguez.
Yeah.
It was one of his songs. He said, he was like talking about like, if I don't score, I'm a throw the assist. So if it's not his time right then he gonna help somebody else get to where they need to be until your time comes up. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, everybody's gonna ball. You know, it's just a matter of time. And how you act in the time that you're down and somebody else is up, it shows is a direct reflection of you. You know what I mean? If it's someone else's shining time and you down bad, and you choose to use that to hate on somebody else, what does that say about you? Like, you know, what does that say about you and your heart? Now you need to go back and focus on yourself and work on yourself, because you don't ever want to be that guy or that person that's just envious of others because of success.
Yeah, because every time you see somebody with like money or with a nice car, you're like, oh, his parents are rich, or like, oh, his dad gave him this business, or that dude's he sells drugs, or like you always make an excuse for the reason why you don't have it. Like, so you're trying to tell that person that, oh, it's because of this. Regardless of how they got it, they fucking got it. And so like that's why I try to, you know, surround myself with people that want me to be better and want themselves to be better, and they're willing to, you know, I think a leader is somebody who used to be a follower. Like a leader is somebody that is willing to take the back seat to let the other person that really wants to shine. And that you have to be really like selfless. And I think that starts by, you know, giving more, expecting nothing in return, doing things like in the kindness of your heart, not doing things because you expect hopefully one day that they're going to remember this day and they'll pay you all this money when they make money. Like, no, I think you should always do it with the kindness of your heart, because that karma and that energy always comes back. It might not happen today. It might happen 20 years later. It might happen after you pass away, and that friend that you did a lot of stuff with will be like, you know, let me go check on his kids, like make sure they're good. Like they're trying to go to college. Let me throw some money. Like the biggest like example I've seen of that lately was what's his name? I think his name is Chris Jones, but they call him Pac-Man Jones.
Yeah.
What he did for Chris Henry. Like,
his son?
Yes, what he did for Chris Henry's son, who passed away years ago, like with a crazy like car accident. He fell out the car or something like that. Like the fact that, you know, they had a good relationship, was like fully trying to uplift each other the whole time, never hated on each other. And the fact that, you know, his friend died, like, you know, just a sad moment, for then years later for him to adopt his son and to elevate him and put him in the right position to reach the NFL if that's the goal. Like that's what I mean. Like when you give more and expect nothing but just a friendship or just trying to be nice and give to people, that energy always comes back. It might be after your demise. Like, you never know. Like, the energy you give back always comes back towards you in some way, or the people around you some way. And I think that's, yeah. And for me, it's like, I think when you hate people or you make excuses for why you don't have what you don't have, you might feel good at that moment because you're justifying your excuses. Like, this is the reason why I don't got it. If I was in his shoes, I would have all the stuff he got or she got. But when you do that, yeah, you might feel good at the moment, but you then build resentment towards your own self. And then it reflects to other people that you even hate even more. But if you were accepting of, like, asking questions and maybe studying them, like, how did they do what they did, or just analyze and try to put it into your life and come with a way of, like, showing love and being positive and trying to understand, like, hey, like, because what you're going through, they have most likely went through, but you're not going to see that or hear of it if you're not part of that circle, or if that question never gets asked. So that's why I like asking questions that are more intellectual or more deeper, because I want to know how you got through it. That could maybe help me or help a friend or a family member of mine that might be going what you're going through in the same type of mind frame, that can help them or myself. So I feel like when you open yourself up to not judge yourself or not judge others, you only put yourself in position to then reach that goal too. But if you're coming from a place of hate and jealousy and envy, that's just a life that is going to hurt you more than anyone else. And you could potentially hurt other people when you could be having a good life and get what you want out of it.
Facts. Like, it's so funny. That's so funny because, like, that's all true. And if people, like, certain people just realize, like, what they're doing to themselves by being like that, like, you're really, like you said, you're accepting, like, you're justifying things for yourself why things didn't work out for you. You know what I mean? And in all reality, you're getting complacent. You're complacent and you're happy of where you're at, and you're saying these things maybe in front of somebody to uplift yourself. Oh, he's in that position because genetics. Or maybe, oh, he got that position because he knew somebody at work. You know what I mean? Or he's a kiss ass. You feel what I'm saying? So, you know, them doing all that damage to themselves for whatever reason, they're making them comments or wasting time, in all reality, wasting time instead of networking. Maybe get with that person. Hey, bro, swallow your pride. Get with that person. Hey, bro, like, how did you make it to this level? How did you get to this point? Like, or trying to, like you said, you're not going to get that information if you're not in that circle. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Studying people and getting to know how people maneuver through certain things. Like you said, like, because at the end of the day, we all go through similar battles and challenges, you know, some more severe than others. But in all reality, you're not the only one that's going through what you've been through. You know what I mean? And there's people that haven't gotten their witness season until they were 50, bro. Didn't turn into a millionaire until they was 40 in they late 50s, 60s. You know what I mean? So it's just all a matter of time. It's when you piece your shit together. But nothing can go wrong from networking, bro. Mm-hmm. Like if somebody else has a platform, say a podcast, like, I would have no problem, and they say they were super successful, I have no problem reaching out to them and ask them, hey, how did you get to here? That's what, you know, the El Barrio podcast, like, I asked him an infinite amount of questions, like, bro, how did you get to here? Like, what do you do for your editing? Yada. And seeing, like, how they have the thing set up, bro, I'm not going to look at it and be like, oh, well, and, oh, their podcast is like this, like, ours is better because of this. You know what I mean? Like, you don't gain anything from that. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, I look for any game that they gave to me that I was able to receive and be like, okay, hey Juan, what if we did this? Hey Juan, what if we did this? And stuff that you've talked to so many people, bruh, and came back with ideas to me, and I was like, oh shit, like, I didn't even think about that we applied, bro. And all the things that we're doing and networking with other people has done nothing but made our platform that much better. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So just imagine if we would have just been in a state of like that mentality, or have like a closed mindset when it comes to that, and hate it instead of look to grow. You know what I mean? Like, I think there's so much value in the networking and taking in that advice from other people to be better.
Yeah, and you have to eliminate like being set in your ways. You have to be
Mhm.
open to like knowing that my best thing to be open is I literally tell myself like I don't know shit. Like I don't know nothing. Even the things that I feel like I know, if I'm talking to somebody who I might feel has the same type of knowledge as me, whether it's higher or lower, that's your perception. But to me, I'm going to forget what I know. And I want to ask them what I think I know and ask them, like, how do they operate? How do they do this? Because they might open up and tell you things that you actually don't know. So, like, some people you might, you know, be close-minded because you want to be in this race of, like, oh, I know everything and I'm good at this field. But there might be somebody else that might be in your same field that does know a lot of things too that you're not being open to because you want to act like you know and you want to be the alpha. I think trying to be an alpha at a certain extent is kind of stupid to me because then you eliminate yourself from learning from that person. Instead, you're trying to whose chest pops up higher, like whose peacock feathers are bigger. Like you're in this stupid ass game when you can actually learn more from that person. And you also have to be mindful of like opening these doors. Like there's these doors that people do that now enables you to be in comparison. So like let's say we have our podcast. Somebody that's freshly new starts their podcast, and the first thing that person does, like let's say an example of me for the sake of the conversation, I then look at how many subscribers do they have. As soon as I look at how many subscribers that they have, I have now opened myself up to comparison. They might have less subscribers and I'm going to feel good at the moment because, oh, we have more subscribers at this time, right? Yet they just fucking started. Or they might have more subscribers and you guys started at the same time or they started later. And then now you just open yourself to be like, why the fuck they got so many subscribers? Like, and then you start hating. And people are, I know a lot of people that are like that. And I know a lot of people that are not either. So what's important to me is that there's difference between curiosity and then being honest about where that curiosity can go if you don't have the right intentions. So like if you look at the other person who has this many followers, or you look at this person that what materials do they have, like materialism, like the car, the chains, like once you start catching yourself in that game, you start comparing yourself. You either uplift yourself to make yourself feel good about the false confidence, or you either judge yourself and you put yourself in a depression because you don't have what they have. So like you have to be careful of the doors that you open. Sometimes it's good not to fucking look at that person's page if it's going to cause you to maybe feel good about it or less of yourself because you're going to judge based off what you see. And then that comes also with the importance of like surrounding yourself with the people that you want to think like. So like I don't want to surround myself with people that are negative and make excuses and always very pessimistic about what they have and what they don't have. They look at life based off what they don't have, that one thing, and cause them to not be happy in the moment. I don't want to surround myself with somebody like that because life is actually going pretty fucking good if that one thing you don't have is the only thing you don't have. So like I want to surround myself with people that are happy to have anything. And they want something, they want to pursue it, they're pursuing it, but that doesn't dictate how they feel in life. Like just because they don't have it doesn't mean life sucks. It's just something that is a journey and a goal to get, which is the fun part. Like I want to surround myself with the people with the like mindset that I want or that I do have, instead of enabling and try to be overly sympathetic towards that person that could then poison me and then I now think just like them. So like you have to literally be open and be careful like what doors you open with the mindset and this judgment that you could do on yourself and others. And then also like be mindful of the people you surround yourself with because they are gonna influence you regardless. I don't know, it doesn't matter what they do, but you have to be very mindful of like whatever they talk about every day or how grateful they are or where they're trying to go in life, because it will affect you in any way it is.
Yeah, facts. And do you think the comparison like that can breed hate and like it can be negative in a way? And when it comes to anything like comparing yourself, even when like say you go on a double date, you can compare like to the other person like, oh, they're like this or they have this or they act like this when we're out. How come we don't do that? You know what I'm saying? Do you think in some way that comparison can be looked at in a negative light?
Yeah. Like, you know how they say like money is the root of all evil?
Mm-hmm.
I think comparison is the root of all evil. Because once you start comparing, you start, like how you said, you could literally be at a double date and then you see somebody be more intimate, like the couple, and then you're looking at you and your lady, or your lady and your man, and you're like, how come we're not that intimate like that? How come you don't treat me like that? How come you don't open the door for me? Like, you start comparing. And I think that is when like every jealousy, envy, judgment, you overanalyze, overthink things. Like, you guys never did, or you never did this one thing, but now you've seen somebody else do it. Now you're like, wait, what the fuck? How come I don't get that treatment? Or how come I don't? I think once you start to compare, life just gets way more difficult than it should be. And that's why people try to blame like social media, like, oh, social media is the cause for mental illness or judgment. No, it's fucking you. Like, it's not social media. It's nothing. Like, social media doesn't make you do anything. You could delete the app, turn it off, and never feel the comparison or like think that social media is a thing. It's actually how you view life. And like, if you value comparison so high and that's how you operate, well, no wonder why you feel how you feel. Is because you're comparing yourself to other people that are not you. Like, because if you were them, you would be just like them, but you're not. You're yourself. And I don't care like where you came from. Like, you can reverse that. You could address it. You could change a mindset. Like Tupac said, like, you know, we can't change the world until we change ourselves, and you can't change your circumstance until you change yourself. So it's like people always want to like point at the external things, but everything's internal. Like, when you want to address and maybe adopt a new, healthier mindset or view of life, I think sometimes we get so stuck on trying to control the outside things because it's so easier to point out, but really it's here. It's both your heart and your mind, and what you do throughout the day dictates how you feel. So like with comparison, I think that is the worst thing you could ever do in life. And sometimes I do compare myself, and I've gotten so much better at that because I'm so quick to be like, you know where this goes. Like, if you start comparing yourself, and I think you still feel those emotions as a human, but like the quicker you respond to it and be like, no, that person is a beautiful person, or they operate different and I operate different. Let me get to know them, or let me maybe ask some questions just to understand how they think, instead of judging them and comparing my life to them and making myself upset, because I feel like that's a waste of time.
Yeah, facts. Everyone's journey is different. Mm-hmm. You know, like if you sit there and compare like this person's journey, maybe their obstacles weren't as, they didn't have as many obstacles as you might have had, or they had more obstacles than you had.
You don't know.
But they still got to their winning season. Mm-hmm. That's why I keep referring back to it, because at the end of the day, everybody can, if they put the work in, have a winning season, or have that moment to where they get to their level of success. You know what I mean? And everyone's not going to be a millionaire. $1 million don't make you happy. $1 billion not gonna make you happy. Solve a lot of problems. Yeah. But don't get me wrong, I'm not capping it. You know what I'm saying? $1 million would solve a lot of problems, but you know, it's not gonna make you happy.
No.
You know, it's not gonna save your relationship. It's not gonna, you know, make everything all sunshine and rainbows. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But we know that, you know, whatever it is that your heart desires and that you genuinely want, and that you have goals for yourself, you can get there. It's only a matter of when and how much time and effort are you willing to put in for that. Because it's not going to be handed to you. You know, no one's going to hand you, you know, the things that you're out there to get. You know what I'm saying? No one's going to come with a cape and save you. You know what I mean? You got to work and get it yourself.
Mm-hmm. Mike Tyson said it best, too. He was like, the people who say, oh, money brings happiness, never had money. And I just think about that. Like, every time I hear, like, oh, like, money's going to solve this. Money's going to solve a lot of things, like you said. But, like, money only makes you more than what you are already. So if you're a sad, depressed person, money is only going to make you more sad and depressed.
A rich, sad, and depressed.
Yeah, rich, sad. Some people be like, oh, yeah. I think it was a Gary Vee interview, or, like, a keynote. He was talking about how people, oh, yeah. Like, he said something funny, but he was like, boy, I'd rather go cry in my fucking Ferrari than cry in my Prius, right? And then Gary Vee was like, yeah, until you're crying in your fucking Ferrari. Like, you know, it's all good to say this shit now, and, like, you think that it'll be worth crying in a Ferrari, But Gary Vee even said it. He said he knows more billionaires and millionaires that are more depressed and not happy than there is happy people that work and make $50,000 a year. Like, people think like, oh, this money amount will fix all my problems or I'll be more happy. But instead of like, are you willing to do what it takes for that $1 million though? Like, work in an 80-hour, bi-weekly work week, work 120. Like, are you willing to work 20 hours out of that 24 hours to do that? And some people, you might have to, not like you lower your standards, but you are shooting for $1 million. But actually, life would be very fulfilled if you were making only 75K a year. Like, because then you have all the time to go on vacation. You're not worked up every day, high stress, high pressure. A lot of people fold. A lot of people don't do that stuff because of pressure and like stress. And so like you think you want to make 500K, but really life would be very good for you at 100K, and you can still do all that you want and more. And so people don't put that in perspective. Like, it's never a money amount. It's never a material. Like, it all starts like here and here. Like, this has to be like in sync. If not, people are going to gravitate you. Money's going to pull you. Money's going to do things that is against your beliefs and your standards just for a quick buck or whatever. And like, yeah, I'm not trying to live like that. I'm good.
Yeah, facts. But I think that's going to wrap it up for this episode. We appreciate you guys for tapping in with us. And, like we say every week, we appreciate you guys. We appreciate the community that we're building. Thank you guys for like continually being there for us, watching us, all of our videos, subscribing, liking, following us. And, even if we don't post a video or maybe the audio up, you guys are hitting us up and telling us, hey, where's the video? Hey, like y'all make sure y'all have it up at 3:00. Ooh, but we appreciate all you guys, and we thank you so much for all your love and support. We'll see you guys next time on Self Revelations.